What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back here with another video. And today we're going to be doing a mock of the brand new TDN mock draft. And I took a peek at this because usually I don't really like doing TDN ones anymore, but this one has some pretty interesting picks in it. And I want to talk about it because some of them I actually support. So you guys are new, like, comment, subscribe, you know, all that YouTube stuff. Over 2,500 subs now. Awesome. Thank you guys. Absolutely amazing. So let's kick it off with the first overall pick, KT. I think it's pretty much set in stone at this point. He's a beast. He's one of those guys who is just like a can't miss prospect. Number one recruit coming out of high school, number one recruit coming out of college. So I love KT. He's going to be a very good addition to a team that usually is going to need some extra help on the pass rush because Trey Flowers going to be gone. Save $10.4 million as well. So getting KT, bring up $10.4 million, that seems like a good deal to me. Texans getting Evan Neal. So this is actually the thing that caught my eye because honestly, the more I think about it, the more realistic it seems. Evan Neal plays right and left tackle, and I think the edge class, because it's so good, might honestly push edges down the board rather than push them up. Just a weird feeling right there, but yeah, you guys might be seeing that tomorrow or the next day when I drop my mock that Texans get Evan Neal. 3, Jets getting Aiden Hutchinson. I don't mind it. You know, I think that Derek Stingley as well as Kyle Hamilton fit a little bit better with what the Jets are going to need. I'd go Kyle Hamilton personally, but can't go wrong with Aiden Hutchinson here. He is an absolute stud. He's a great edge rusher. And honestly, you know, you just can never go wrong with fortifying that defensive front. Kyle Hamilton to the Jaguars. I don't mind it. I think it would be pretty solid. You know, I would consider Derek Stingley over him just because the safety class is a lot better than the corner class. But that being said, Kyle Hamilton is more of a surefire thing than Derek Stingley, who has shown some excellent flashes, just injury-wise hasn't been there, and then also has had some pretty poor games as well. Number 5 with the Eagles getting Derek Stingley, I think you just get the best option that's left on the table, so I like it a lot. With the Giants going at 6, going George Karlaftis, I think that a guy like DeMarvin Leal is a little bit better. Karlaftis has some excellent maneuverability, and you know, even though like he didn't do too hot against Ohio State, he still showed how excellent he was as a technician, and he's very, very polished. So I like him. I just think that if you're going to go for a 3-4 defensive end, I think you go for DeMarvin Leal just because he fits a lot better. And honestly, you can use him in you can use DeMarvin Leal in sub packages as a defensive tackle or out wide. So that's just my take right there. Next, you get Kenyon Green. I just think you should be looking at a tackle more than a guard at 7. You know, I just personally think that that's the best choice, but Kenyon Green is a very, very solid talent. I can't complain with getting Kenyon Green. It's just, I can't be happy about Kenyon Green at 7. Number 8 with Washington, Ikem Ekwonu finally being put as an offensive tackle out of NC State. I don't hate it because I'm very unsure of who the best quarterback in this class is. And I'm unsure whether teams will actually take a quarterback at the top of the class because you do have guys like Kenny Pickett, Carson Strong, and guys like that who would be there probably in the earlier second round or the late first. We can trade up for them. This might be the best move. And I want to hear Washington fans talk about this because this is something that I've been contemplating is, hey, do we trade back with Washington and get a left tackle? Because obviously I know you guys have Leno there right now and Cornelius Lucas, and I think they're Leno's up for a contract this year, Lucas up next, but like Ikem is an absolute stud at left tackle. He's improved so much. So I want to hear what you guys think about that one because it's certainly an interesting thought to me. It's like, oh, well, getting the offensive line is never a terrible idea, and quarterbacks in this class are heavily uncertain. He's a beast too. He's an amazing player. Number 9 with the Jets getting Andrew Booth. You know, he is a really, really good corner, just not worth the number 9 pick. Again, he gets picked on a little too much for my liking. He has the most athletic upside, but I think this team needs a impact player. So I'd put a guy like Kyrie Elam here 100%. I'd be happy with that. If you want to put a guy like Sauce Gardner here, 100%. I think those two are now significantly, or at least definitively above Andrew Booth to me. And the only thing that could ever justify Booth going in the top 10 is the fact that he's an athletic freak. Number 10 with the Dolphins going Charles Cross. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I don't like drafting linemen to the Dolphins in the first solely because I don't think that like Charles Cross is still getting used to his body. And there's no guarantee that he's going to, one, be comfortable enough to do something like this, but two, be an impact, like the impact you need for the Dolphins. It's not very big shoes to fill with Austin Jackson, but at the same time, this is a team that I was hoping would be the top of the division this year. And they just didn't take that step. And that's very unfortunate. Charles Cross would certainly be, I would not be against this pick at all. Because again, I don't mind messing with the offensive line whenever you can, just select them and be able to do whatever you can. I just don't know if Charles Cross is going to be the long-term answer. He's a very good player, and I'm happy that he's come into his own. He put on some pounds. I think he's now in that 305 range. He's at 290. So added on 15 pounds, looks a lot better. He's deserving of this pick. It's tough for me. I know there's no trades here, but it's tough for me to say, hey, this is where I'd go. With the Eagles getting DeMarvin Leal, I mean, that'd be just a damn steal. You could put him on the edge. It's a weird spot because if you're going to trade Fletcher Cox, that wouldn't be a terrible succession plan. But if you want to use him out on the edge, that'd be fun. That'd be really fun. Even if you told him like to slim down to 270 to get a little more explosiveness, even though he's explosive as it is, that wouldn't be a terrible idea. So I don't mind it at all. Eagles could definitely get an edge player, but I'm starting to think that the Eagles, how Nick Sirianni, not Nick Sirianni, but Howie Roseman is he going to draft like, I forgot about the fact that the Eagles haven't had 3 picks yet. Are they going to draft 3 defensive players, which I love that Nakobe Dean pick? I don't know. I have my doubts. So that's unfortunate because this team needs a lot of help on the defensive side for the future because there's some really good pieces here. At the same time, it's hard to say that Howie Roseman will do that. Next is Trevor Penning. That is a ballsy pick. That's ballsy. I don't know if he'd be anywhere near the top of the draft if it weren't for his game versus Iowa State. That being said, I got to say, I love the fact that offensive line is being represented here. That's just not the case in the NFL draft unless you're seeing a legendary class, which this is not legendary class. Has some very good pieces, but it's not legendary. Trevor Penning's going to be a late 1 to early 2. Maybe he can sneak into the mid-late 1. He's just too raw to go at number 12. The Falcons would be the team to take him. I'll admit it. They'll be the team to take him, but that's a big ask, especially even with like all the quarterbacks on the board. I know this team probably wouldn't draft one, but there's still corners on the board like Kyrie Elam, and there's also just really damn good edges on the board. Going Trevor Penning, I don't mind it because again, I like the offensive line. It's just that doesn't seem very realistic. Vikings need Jordan Davis, like they need another interior defensive lineman. First pick, I'm actually really, really not a fan of, but hey, in the mock draft world, that's a pretty good sign. Broncos game Matt Corral. I think honestly they're gonna go with a more of a project guy to sit behind Teddy. I really do think Malik Willis to me, he's the QB1 of the class, and that has nothing to do. I think Malik Willis in 3 years will be the QB1 of the class. Right now, it's Matt. If you want to get a guy who's going to be ready now, he has a very high ceiling. But you want to get the guy who might be a difference maker or might be a complete bust. That'd be Malik Willis. But Matt Corral could be what the Broncos are looking for because you do kind of want to win now. And it's not like you're taking the safe option. He's not safe. He's just the best right now. So Matt Corral to the Broncos. Don't hate it at all. I really don't. He's still super solid. Already said, love this pick, Nakobe Dean. Browns, Chris Olave. Interesting. Very interesting because Chris Olave to me is now definitively worse than Garrett Wilson. And I think it's actually quite a big margin. Like Garrett Wilson has secured himself as the top wide receiver in the class to me. And he's pretty damn far from Chris Olave. Really, really good route runner and stuff. But, there's just something special about Garrett Wilson. That being said, I don't think the Browns would look for a guy like Garrett Wilson because I think that Jarvis Landry does a lot of what Garrett Wilson does better than a Chris Olave. So Chris Olave and Jarvis Landry would be a good pair. I just don't think that's the right spot to take one. Linderbaum to the Bengals. You guys know I love that pick. That's a great pick. I felt regret not doing that last draft. It happens, right? We always do a mock draft every week just because you got to do tweaks here and there. You slip up once, you make a tweak. You learn something new about a team, you make a tweak. Trade happens, you make a tweak. So yeah, Bengals getting Tyler Linderbaum, that's a steal. I would still take Tyler Linderbaum in the top 10. He's a top 5 prospect to me. So even if you took him in the top 5, I wouldn't blame you. Chiefs getting Kyrie Elam, I would be very happy for the Chiefs because that is a position that they probably would want to address, and Kyrie Elam is a stud. Panthers getting Malik Willis, just saying, I traded up for him as well. So it makes sense to me. Chargers getting Darian Kennard, I absolutely love that pick. Legitimately, I love it. It's another one of these high-end prospects, that can play right tackle for Balaga's position for the future, but he could also play right guard for the short term. I think that's a perfect fit for the Chargers. If you really want to get a perfect player, Darian Kennard's your guy. It's just tough to say that the Giants won't fall in love with someone who's 345 and is that athletic. With the Saints getting Drake London, I really can't blame him for it. I just think Garrett Wilson's a lot better. So that's me being a Drake London fanboy. I just think he's probably wide receiver 2 to me right now in the class. And then you got, of course, Chris Olave being a close wide receiver 3. Just Drake London's a beast, very large, and he's a very large body frame, 6'5", and he's very, very good after the catch. So I don't blame Drake London going to the Saints. It's just I have a weird feeling they forced Garrett Wilson to the Patriots, which is something that if I could, I would do, but I know that I'm not the type to force picks anymore. That's something that I don't like to do because the draft doesn't allow you to force picks in real life. Teams like a dude, they'll take a dude. So Garrett Wilson to the Patriots, I love that pick. Steelers getting Sauce. Honestly, with all the tackles off the board and with the quarterbacks, like the top 2 being off, I would not mind it because I love Sauce. Sauce is a stud to me. He's top 10. It's just tough for me not to say Sam Howell would be a good pick here for the Steelers. I mean, we have Ben, who is obviously not a top 10 quarterback anymore. And then we have a fully loaded defense and an offense that is a couple pieces away from being legit contender worthy again. I think a good quarterback would be the best option here, especially if you have Sam Howell falling. And I think he could. But Sauce Gardner, I would never, ever complain. And I wish this is why we had 2 rounds because I want to see the drafting philosophy. Buccaneers getting Treylon Burks. I don't see that need. That's one where I don't see it. That's like saying like the rich get richer. I don't think that's a very good move. You have Mike Evans and you have Tyler Johnson. I love Tyler Johnson. You have a lot of different dudes here that are more this larger body frame of 6 foot plus. And I don't think Treylon Burks is what you're looking for. You still have some solid corners on the board, like Trent McDuffie. Speaking of, you have safeties on the board, Jordan Battle, and as well as Jalen Catalon. I just don't think that wide receivers what they'd be looking at because I don't think the offense is nearly the problem that the defense is. 25 with the Raiders getting Trent McDuffie. That's a great ass fit, especially since we saw how much of an impact a guy like Casey Hayward could be. Ravens getting Zion Johnson. I know a lot of the offensive linemen getting off the board, but no, that's not my style. If you want to do that, you go Sean Ryan. That's what you do. You put Sean Ryan at a guard and say he's going to become the future left tackle, or you use him at left tackle. Like if you really want to just go straight up with an offensive lineman, that's what you do. Zion Johnson's not worth a 1st round pick. To be 100% fair, I don't know if he's worth a 2nd round pick. But Zion Johnson is a very good lineman. It's tough to say that he's going to go above other dudes. 27 with the Lions getting Devin Lloyd. Do not have an issue with that at all. You get an actual impact on this defense and someone who's very good all around. It's going to be tough to say that you guys would pass on someone who at least will actually make an impact year 1. 28 with the Cowboys, Daxton Hill. I'm fine with it. I just don't think they need a slot safety. Daxton Hill is very, very good. I would just say I'd go after maybe Jordan Battle or Jalen Catalon, just not a guy who's actually more of a slot safety than anything. But he's really good. He's really damn good. I'm not going to complain. It's just I think I would prefer other people in the class. Bills against Jahan Dotson. Don't really think that that is going to be an exact need that they're going to be going after. Like for his body type, he's actually taller than I expected. I thought it was closer to like the 5'9", but I just don't think that he can outclass other wide receivers in this class. And that's how, like, this is a pretty damn solid wide receiver class. It's nothing like the stacked ones that we've seen before, but there are some extremely talented ones in this class. And I don't know if Jahan Dotson is going to be slipping into the first just because of how many solid enough wide receivers there are. Bills still have some issues elsewhere on the offensive line, for fuck's sake. Like, you can definitely get some help there. But also, I would say in the corner, secondary room, also your safeties aren't getting any younger. So there's some room to improve. Not against the pick. It's just I don't know if I'd see Jahan Dotson slipping into the first over some other wide receivers who are still on the board. 30 with the Packers, Nicholas Petit-Frere. I actually really like that pick. Again, another true right tackle. Another thing the Steelers could have went after. Another thing the Bills could have went after. Another thing that the Ravens could have went after because he likes playing left tackle. The Raiders could have went after. Even the Buccaneers. This is a really young dude who has a lot of potential and is playing very well in a very, very tough division or conference. So I just don't really get why Nicholas Petit-Frere fell, but he's a beast. I like him. Brandon Smith to the Titans. I mean, to be honest, I'm pretty sure that one of the linebackers there is actually doing a really good job, but I would not complain about Brandon Smith to the Titans. I do like Brandon Smith. I like the linebacker to the Titans. I think that's what they're looking for. But again, I'm not going to force that anymore. I don't think I'm going to force a linebacker. I'm just going to get the best guy available. Cardinals getting Roger McCreary is a pretty ballsy pick to put him over Martin Emerson as well as Darion Kendrick. So I don't like that pick, but potato, potato. So honestly, this was not a terrible mock draft at all. You have your slip ups here and there, but it was finally some fresh juice from TDN. Finally seeing some differences in opinion. And that's going to be very great. So let me know what you guys think. One, thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the far side. Peace.